Well, today's episode, we're going to finish up with the remaining shows from Marigold. As you know, on the last episode, I finished up doing, of course, the Rising Spirit Tour. However, we're going to finish off with what took place recently. As you know, they had the Shine Forever event that took place in Yoyogi, featuring, of course, two title matches. The Superfly Championship, Maya Iwatani makes her first attempt against someone she knows back in Stardom, Victoria Yuzuki. The real question is, can the Icon pull it off, or Victoria Yuzuki will finally defeat her? And then, of course, we have the World Championship. Utami Ayashida defends her championship against, of course, Mirai, who's been making headways to strip off the title off her. And, of course, we have the Marigold versus Marvelous. And of course, the main event features, of course, Nanane Takahashi's last time being there, because right now, as we speak, she's officially retired. So it's going to be an interesting event. And of course, recently they just begun their latest tour, Burning Desire, celebrating their first year anniversary since they've been operating. So we're going to go from day 1 through 3 on this one. So it's going to be a lot of fun to get through. And of course, amongst them is day 3 featuring, of course, Mayu Tani making her first title defense against Mita Matsui, defending the Superfly Championship. And I'll explain more about that. And also to add this, there'll be no news updates whatsoever on this one. So let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world. Pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on a like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. So, it's time to rock. So let's begin, of course. As always, we're continuing with more with Marigold. Let's begin with Shine Forever, a glorious celebration. Marigold. Shine Forever, a glorious celebration. This took place on the 24th of May at the Yoyogi National Gymnasium number 2. Now, as you know, Marigold has already been celebrating the first anniversary since they launched on May 20th, 2024. So basically, they're like 4 days off, but it doesn't matter. So as you know, they continue to operate. Now, let's begin with our first match. Now, this one is a very good one. I have to say, great opener. I mean, we have Mai Sakurai, our current United National Champion, not defending her belt, but, however, participating in a debut match against Shino. Now, for those who don't know who she is, Shino is a second-generation wrestler. Her mother is known as Michiko Omukai, and here's the interesting part. Shino's mom is good friends with Kizuna Tanaka's mom herself, so basically, you can guess that both Kizuna and Shino grew up together. So yeah, so you have generational wrestlers in Marigold. And what I loved about this match, man, Shino really impressed me completely. Now, I forgot who was it. I think Stu Block mentioned that she expected Shino to do the Shining Wizard, which is a move that her mother would do. But she said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm actually using the Kamigoya. And if you guys are not familiar with that move, that is the move that, what's his name? Kota Ibushi uses. So she learned that from him. So it's great that she learned from something. But man, the match was fantastic. And just like that, I was so impressed. But however, my Sakurai was able to pick up the win, of course, with the STF. And just like that, Shino had no choice but to tap out. But what makes this match so emotional is, of course, in the commentary booth, Shino's mom, Michiko Omukai, was right there watching, crying, seeing what a great opener. I mean, I'm sure she is proud of her daughter. Despite that she lost, I have to say she probably was happy to see what she was capable of doing. Of course, Sakurai and Shino went close to her, and of course, they all hugged it out like a big, happy family. And of course, it brought tears into me as well, seeing that, because, it's very beautiful to see mother is proud of her daughter, despite that maybe some people say maybe you shouldn't allow that, but she supported her daughter 100%. Now, our next match, we have, of course, what was it? We have an 8-woman tag match. We have Darkness Revolution, Megaton, Chiaki, Mita Matsui, and Nagisa Nozaki taking on Nagisa Tachibana, Ryoko Sakumura, Irina Yamanaka, and Chanyota. Now, however, recently, as you know, when it comes to Darkness Revolution, recently they've been suffering losses when it comes to Megaton being the weakest link. And of course, they made it perfectly clear for Megaton, if she loses this match, she's out of Darkness Revolution. Now, you probably would think that would have been the obvious thing that could have happened in this match. No, unfortunately, it did not. Apparently, Mitsa Matsui was able to pick up the win by applying a double foot stomp onto Sakamori, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 was over. However, what's interesting during the post match, Chiaki, Misa, and Nagisa Nozaki, they just left Megaton behind, like, whatever, let's leave her there like a dead duck. So that's exactly what happened during that time, and Megaton tried to reach out to them, but they weren't having it. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting one. We have Minami Yuki teaming up with Chika Goto. They take on Kizuna Tanaka, and the returning are the GHC Women's Champion, Kyoki Amari. For those who may not remember, Kyoki Amari was injured early this year. However, there were people that were speculating that she could have just vacated the GHC Women's Championship after she got injured. But however, that wasn't the case that happened. But this was her comeback match, you would think. But we do know that Chika Goto and Kyoki Amari, they definitely would headbutts, because A, they were tag partners, B, they are rivals in some capacity. But in the end, it was, of course, Kyoki with the Amethyst Butterfly onto Minami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next match, we have a Marvelous versus Marigold. Now, as you know, there's been tensions with both promotions. Representing Marvelous, we have, of course, the two rookies, Senka Akatsuki and Sora Ayame. They are joined by Eihausen, and of course our current Twin Star Tag Team Champions, Maria and Riko Kawahara, better known as Magenta. So they are part of this. And representing Marigold, we have Komomo Minami, Rhea Seto, Hummingbird, Nao Ishikawa, and Natsumi Shozuki. Now, let me pull up, of course, exactly how this match ended, because it was an elimination match, just to make things perfectly clear for all of you. So that way, you guys know what I mean. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, here it is. Alright, so this is how, of course, the elimination went. First to be eliminated was Komomo Minami. She was eliminated by Senka Akatsuki. And then, of course, Soroyana was eliminated by Nao Ishikawa. And then after that, Riko Kawahara eliminates Hummingbird. She's Natsumi Shizuki eliminates Senka Akitsuki. Maria, Naoshikawa, Natsumi, and Riko, they were all eliminated on the single rope. But it was Rhea Seto who picked up the win by defeating Hausen. However, of course, we know that in this case, Mighty Gold may have won the match, but the war is still raging on because, of course, the one thing that, of course, the Mighty Gold roster wants is the return of the Twin Star Tag Team titles that currently Magenta has in their possession. But the real question is who's going to step up to win those belts. I mean, yeah, that's going to be a tough thing to watch. Now, our next match, we have Takumi Iroha versus, of course, the young sensational rookie Sarah Yamaoka. Now, of course, it's many of you would think, okay, Siri, she's very impressive since she debuted, but many of you would think there's no way she could defeat Takumi Iroha. I mean, she is one of the best Yoshi wrestlers we watch, and yes, and she did. And of course, many of us would have expected her to apply the running three, but nope, it did not happen. She defeated her by doing like a knee, somewhat like the Oblivion or go to sleep type of maneuver onto Yamaoka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now our next match is the Mighty Gold Superfly Championship. Victoria Yuzuki defends it against her former leader from Stardom, Mayu Iwatani. For those who don't remember this, or those who may not know much about their history, let me explain to you. Prior before Mighty Gold ever launched, Victoria Yuzuki used to be part of Stardom, just called herself Yuzuki, and she won Rookie of the Year of a tournament that took place under a month. And then, of course, out of nowhere, she made the decision to, of course, to join Stars as soon as possible. Why I mention that is because it was unprecedented, because it takes a while for every wrestler to decide, okay, when will they make their move? What factions they would join? Well, she made her move just like that. But of course, when Rossi Ogawa was fired, there was speculations about talent leaving, and Yuzuki was one of them, and she left, and just like that. However, now that Mayu Iwatani made her appearance, when she appeared, she said she's coming for all the championships, and one of them was, of course, is the Superfly Championship. So Victoria Yuzuki, as you know, even tried to emulate many of Mayu's moves throughout her entire time since in Mighty Gold. But the real question is, can Mayu Iwatani teach her a lesson? Well, that kind of did. Let's just say she pulled off the moonsault better than she could, than Victoria could have done it herself. But just like that, 1, 2, 3. Mayu Iwatani with her first Mighty Gold Championship. So basically, this is one of few that she'll probably obtain. We know that she has an ultimate goal is to win all championships, and of course, become the first ever first person to hold both the IWGP Women's Championship and the GHC Women's title. So that's going to be at another time. But right now, we're happy that she won her belt. Now, our next match is the Mighty Gold World Championship. Utami Ayashida defends her championship against Mirai. Now, Mirai, as you know, has been making a play for this belt for quite some time, ever since Bozilla intended to make a play for herself too. But now that she's gone, Mirai makes the choice to obtain this belt, and that's exactly what happened. But man, this was a brutal match because Mirai, we know she's tough as nails. We know that she puts out everything in the ring. But Utami, who's been determined to be the ace of Mighty Gold, she prevailed when she applied multiple attempts to apply the hijack bomb, and then when she finally applied it, 1, 2, 3, she retained the belt. And of course, we had the post-match promo. I cannot remember what she said to Mirai, but however, after she had her little chat with Mirai, she called out one person, of course, that she wants to defend the championship belt, and surprise, surprise, it's someone that she actually fought before. For those who don't know, she called out Takumi Iroha. Now, many of you may question why. Simple. If you guys are Stardom fans who know her history, you may know this. Back when Utami Ayashida was still the World of Stardom champion, aka the Red Belt champion, she defended the belt against Takumi Iroha. So basically, now it's happening again. However, Takumi said that she would accept the challenge, but however, she said that she has other plans in mind, so we don't know what that meant. But she said that but Utami said that she will hold on to this belt until she's ready. So it's still unclear what those plans were, but sooner or later we'll catch up to that. Now, our next match, we have, of course, the final match of Nanane Takahashi, and she faces Miku Anu. Now, many of you may not remember this. I mentioned this. Originally, Rossy Ogawa wanted Julia to be part of this, but due to the fact of her schedule with WWE, it prevented her from not participating. So, which was sucks. But Miku Anu became the next logical choice, which was good. We know they have faced each other before in the past, but man, this match was crazy. I wasn't too sure. I mean, Nana Takahashi would have won this match if she in her way to retire, but unfortunately that was not the case. It was Miku Ano who picked up the win by applying a driver, and just like that, it was over. But however, they decided to build a new tradition for Nana Takahashi. They decided to give her a gauntlet match. So it started out with her facing against Senka Asatsuki. However, they only have 1 minute to complete this, and apparently, with Akatsuki, it ended after 1 minute time limit draw. And then later, she faced, of course, her tag partner Seri Yamaoka, and of course, they started out with a slap contest, which was good. But however, Seri Yamaoka picked up the win by pinfall. And then the next person who to face Nanane was Kyoki Amari. Now, Kyoki has always wanted to face Nanane, but due to the fact that she was out on injury, this was her timing to come in. But however, this match ended in a time limit draw after 1 minute. And then after that, this is where things got more interesting. Nanane faced off against wrestlers that she has worked with in the years. One was, of course, what's her name? Yumiko Hota. That's right, Yumiko Hota from T-Hearts showed up, but however, Nana Takahashi walked away with the win, with the pinfall after 54 minutes. But later, the last person I was surprised to hear, it was her own tag partner from Nanane Momo, or Momo Nane, Momo Nakanishi. So basically, yeah. But of course, Nana Takahashi picked up the win. So basically, this was the end from us to know about her. But man, it was a great event. It was fun. I mean, I enjoyed this. This was a pretty good event. I mean, Shino Mai Sakurai winning, awesome. Maya winning the Superfly Championship and all this. So we'll see more of Marigold where we go. But as a moment, as I mentioned, this is a Marigold episode that we're going to be covering. So let's move on to the next part of their next tour, the first anniversary series, Burning Desires. As we continue with more with Marigold, now let's begin with their latest tour for the first year anniversary series, Burning Desires. Now, they make the first stop in day one on, of course, May 30th in Kumamoto. So let's begin with the first match. Our first match, we have Chiaki versus Nagisa Tachibana. Now, of course, many of you would think in some capacity that this one was going to fall into Chiaki's favors for obvious reasons. A, she's a dirty wrestler. 2, she used dirty tactics. 3, she'd do whatever it takes to win. And that's exactly what she did. Until she applied a somewhat of a face plant maneuver. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up the win. Now, our next match, we have Megaton versus Ryoku Sakimura. Now, some of you may question that in this match, Megaton will probably lose this. You're obviously right, that normally would happen. But she has picked up wins here and there. I mean, we know Sakimura actually did pick up wins here and there too. But, however, Megaton was able to pick up the win when she applied a diving body press onto her. And just like that, 1, 2, 3... Megaton picked up the win. Our next match, we have Komomo Minami and Kizuna Tanaka teaming up. They take on Shino and Seri Yamaoka. I have to say it was a pretty good match for obvious reasons. We know that certain girls are very talented. But what I did like is the fact that Kizuna Tanaka and Shino are opposite sides from each other because, as I mentioned, both their mothers were tag teams together, and they were part of the same promotion years ago with Rossi. And I mean, I would have loved to see Kizuna Tanaka and Shino team up, and that would be awesome. I mean, both moms would be proud of them to watch, like, the spin image of them now in their daughters. But however, they're in the opposite. But unfortunately, this match ended in a 15-minute time limit draw, and just like that, it was over. Next up, we have a three-way match. We have Mitsa Matsui versus Hummingbird versus Rhea Seto. So, as you probably can guess, anything could happen in this type of match. Now, don't forget, Mitsa Matsui will probably have the help of course, members of the, well, Nagisa Nozaki was not involved, but I'm sure Chiaki would definitely help her out in this match. But unfortunately, this match ended with, of course, Mitsa Matsui pinning Hummingbird, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have Chanyota. She teams up with Mai Sakurai to take on Kyoki Amori and, of course, Utami Ayashida, which it's interesting enough. I have to say, many people would suspect, okay, Chanyota could pin either a Kyoki or Utami for whatever title they could choose. But much like what we saw in the much recent match, this match ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. So yes, so that's how it ended. Now our main event, we feature, of course, Minami Yuki, Chika Goto, and Miku Anu. They take on Victoria Yuzuki, Mirai, and our newly crowned Superfly champion, Mayu Iwatani. Now, I'm not surprised that Victoria Yuzuki and Mayu would team up. A, because they actually were part of Stars together. Not to mention Victoria Yuzuki admires Mayu, and she always looked up to her, and now she gets to team up with her side by side. But I think many of us would question how will their team dynamic will fit in with Mirai. I mean, don't forget, they were not part of the same team together. Mirai was part, of course, of DDM until she joined God's Eye. I have to say they really learned from each other for that amount of time. I mean, I have to say Victoria Yuzuki, Mirai, and Mayu really turned it up completely. I mean, they showed exactly what they're capable of. You know, I mean, I would love to see those three as a faction, which would be awesome to watch. You know, but in the end, it was Mayu Utani once more with a moonsault onto Minami Yuki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So practically that's how it ended. So we are done with day 1 of the Burning Desire for the first year anniversary series. Let's move on with day 2. Okay, we continue with more with Marigold with the first year anniversary series, Burning Desire, and this time they make their pit stop at Fukuoka. This took place recently on May 31st. Our opening match, we have tag team action. We have Nagisa Tachibana and Ryoku Sakimura taking on Shino and Seri Yamaoka. Now, of course, we did see these two ladies team up recently in day 1 of the of Burning this on the tour. But the real question is, will it be any different from what they learned? Now, however, many of you would think in some capacity. We know that Nagisa Tachibana and Ryoku Sakimura are least experienced wrestlers, much like Shino. But Shino really was impressive when we saw her in her debut match against Mai Sakurai. So many of you would think, okay, Shino is going to be the weakest link. I mean, fortunately, that did not happen because in the end, it was Seri Yamaoka who picked up the win by pinning Tachibana, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have Hummingbird taking on Chika Goto. Now, of course, nothing too special about this match whatsoever. One thing is this, who is going to try to build up momentum for themselves in this. However, this one ended with Chika Goto applying the giant swing until Hummingbird. I don't know how many times she had to go in circles until, of course, she let go of Hummingbird. Hummingbird, who knows how long she was disoriented. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Chika Goto picked up the win. Next up, we have a three-way match. We have Megaton versus Minami Yuki versus Kyuki Amori. Now, nothing too special about this one either, but the one thing I asked myself, does this match apply to Megaton's dilemma with Darkness Revolution? I mean, remember, she has suffer losses. But I don't think, in my opinion, this applies because this is singles action. The matches that she's been involved losing were, in fact, tag team matches. And that's always been the case. But I wasn't too sure. But however, it was Kyuki Amari impressive once again when she applied a submission on Megaton. And just like that, Megaton had no choice but to tap. I'm sure, in the back, Chiaki Mitsumatsui and Nagisa Nozaki are like looking at this. Damn, this girl is still weakest link. We need to get rid of her. So I'm sure they're looking for ways to find a way to get rid of her, but we'll see. Next up, we have Chanyota versus Kizuna Tanaka. Of course, Chanyota, many of us already know her. She is good friends with Mai Sakurai. Many of you have seen her in Stardom. Well, this was a good, interesting match to watch, not to mention Kizuna Tanaka, as you know, a second-generation princess. Don't forget, both her parents are wrestlers. If you guys don't know, her dad is Minoru Tanaka, and her mom, I forgot her name, but she's also a wrestler too who retired. But in the end, in this match, it was Chanyota who has a bit more experience than her. She applied the jackhammer onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have Darkness Revolution. We have Chiaki and Mitsumatsui taking on Vittori Yuzuki and Utami Ayashida. Now, obviously, you would think, of course, Chiaki and Mitsumatsui, they will love nothing more to pin Utami Ayashida, our current world champion, which, of course, would apply for them to find a way to obtain the big belt into their faction, which, of course, is something they probably have crossed their minds. However, Misa did humanly possible try to get it, but however, Chiaki was the one who suffered the fate by Utami when she applied a German suplex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Our main event, we have 6-woman tag team match. We have Rhea Seto, Miku Ano, and our current United National Champion, Mai Sakurai. They take on Komomo Minami, Mirai, and our current Superfly champion, the icon of pro wrestling, Mayu Iwatani. Now, of course, one thing for another, we know that Miku Ano and Mai Sakurai will love nothing more to get a crack at Mayu Iwatani. Not because she's the champion. You got to remember, if you defeat the icon, you be remembered. Oh my God, you're the one who defeated her. We had that situation before in Stardom with Utami Ayashida. And of course, they will love nothing more than etch their names as one of the few people who can defeat her. So, however, that would have been one of the cases there. But in the end, it was Mirai who picked up the win by pinfall onto Rhea Seto. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So pretty much that's how things rolled on day 2 of the first anniversary series, Burning Desires with MARIGOLD. Let's move on with our final review, in which is, of course, day 3 of this tour. MARIGOLD. We're now in day 3 of the first anniversary series, Burning Desire. And this took place on June 5th in Shinjuku Face in Tokyo, in case anybody wonders where that venue is at. Now, we opened up, of course, with singles action. We have Arina Yamanaka, who we've been seeing recently making her appearance in MARIGOLD. This time she takes on Ryoko Sakimura. Now, nothing too special about this match, one way or the other, but from my observation, I had a feeling that, of course, Yamanaka was going to pick up the win due to the fact that she has way more better experience than Sakimura, and just like that, she applied an inverted DDT, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have Nagisa Tachibana and Hummingbird. They take on Kizuna Tanaka and Kyuki Omori. Now, of course, it wouldn't be no secret if they pin Kyuki as being the current GHC Women's Champion, which obvious would have been the obvious choice on this one. But unfortunately, it was, of course, Kizuna Tanaka that who picked up the win by applying a buzzsaw kick, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, and it was over. Just like that, she took out Tachibana with that kick. Fantastic. I'm sure her dad is proud for teaching her that move. Now, our next match, we have Darkness Revolution. We have Megaton and Chiaki taking on, and Agiza Nozaki. They take on Minami Yuki, Chika Goto, and Miku Anu. Now, of course, it's obvious when you hear me say that Megaton's involved in this tag match. All of you would think in some capacity that this match was going to fall in favor with, of course, the with Minami, Chika, and Miku winning, because Megaton has not been successful in winning any of the tag matches she's been involved in. So she was, but unfortunately, it was Chika Goto who picked up the win by submission on Megaton, and just like that, it was over. However, we did see, of course, members of Darkness Revolution were not too keen on how this match ended. Now, I'm not sure if they're giving her one last chance to produce results or they're booting her out. So that's one of the things I still don't know. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes from there. Next up, we have Siri Yamaoka versus Vittori Yuzuki. So, of course, two wrestlers who we know they are excellent. We know that, as you know, Vittori Yuzuki, who is determined to become the future ace of Marigold, is taking on someone who, as you know, at a very short of time has been racking up wins here and there. But I think many of us would question who will be the one to come on top on this one. However, that wasn't the case. It ended in a 15-minute time limit draw, and just like that, it was over. Next up, we have Komomo Minami, Chanyota, and Mai Sakurai. They take on Rhea Seto, Mirai, and Utame Ishida. Now, of course, many of you know there's certain factors of this match. Mai Sakurai being the current Marigold United National Champion. If any of the opposing team, they would have defeated her to get a shot of that belt. However, you do have, of course, on the opposite side of Mai Sakurai, the current Marigold World Champion. So anybody could challenge for that. I mean, I would, but the one thing that ended is, of course, Chanyota, who picked up the win, once again applying a jackhammer onto Rhea Seto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Our main event is the Marigold Superfly Championship defendant. Mayu Iwatani defends her championship against Mitsa Matsui. Now, some of you may question, J-Rod, when did Mitsa Matsui actually, of course, issue the challenge? Now, this was something I kind of accidentally alluded, and I apologize for that. Now, there was one of the, in the post-match comments after Mayu won the title from Vittori Yuzuki, it was Mitsa Matsui who issued the challenge. Now, it's no secret for those who follow Marigold, especially if you follow Mitsa Matsui, that she has pursuing this belt ever since it was created. And she was part of the first ever, to become the first ever champion, but she lost that title to Natsumi Shozuki. So she's been making a play to get this title one way or the other, and now the opportunity has come arise because simple. For Mitsa Matsui, and I think in her head, she would think not only she wins the belt, she becomes one of the few people to say, Mitsa Matsui defeated the icon, Mayu Iwatani. She would think of it as one of the crowning achievements. Now, yes, the belt is a good gesture to have to prove you're the best, but at the same time, defeating Mayu Iwatani, the icon, you know your name will be mentioned all over the history books on that. And I think that's something that Mitsa Matsui must have considered the reason why she challenged it. Because, of course, how many people can say that you defeated Mayu Iwatani? Not a whole lot. I mean, unless you're Utame Ishida, who somehow pulled it off. But just like that. But, of course, when it comes to Mitsa Matsui being a member of Darkness Revolution, of course that there was going to be help from Darkness Revolution. That's always been the case. But unfortunately, that did not end it right there, because it was Mayu Iwatani once again prevailing when she applied a moonsault, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she retained the championship. So I think many of us would ask in the future, who will be the next competitor, challenger for the belt? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we're not in no rush at this moment, but we'll just see. So as of right now, as I know, I mentioned earlier, there will be no news updates for today. So let's just call it a day. Well, I can say for now, we are done. We catch up with Marigold. Now I need to catch up, of course, with a few more other Yoshi promotions. We're talking about Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling, Sendai Girls, and possibly maybe Seedling. We'll see. I mean, is exhausting. But I got it done. So I like to give myself a pat on the back for that. So as for our next episode, I did learn we do have New Japan, in case anybody asks. We have the Minions. So once again, they return to Osaka Joe Hall. We do have the IWGP World Heavyweight title defended, tag team belts, whatever matches we do have. So we even got the dark color match between the two leaders of both the War Dogs and House of Torture. Now we do know that Evil mentioned there'll be a new member, so can't wait to see what's going to happen. So we'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is, and I'll see you guys on the next time. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.